Yes, nonsense and analysis. Good afternoon, everybody. Yes. So, yeah, we are certainly going to look at the Moja extravaganza, you know, again. And round four is underway. Some results have happened, and but generally the game is still going on. A game I really liked that I wanted us to look at was a game that Matfey Rogov played against Jack van Zeilroot. And yeah, this was played on board one. So both players had full score. They both had 3 points each. The other player who has a full score is playing on board two with black. This is Sergio Miguel. I'm looking at the game right now. He had a very good position before, possibly winning, and then in time trouble, he did something strange. So now it looks very drawish now, and he has to be careful. But okay, anything can happen. Anyway, let's jump into this game. And all I can say, after looking at this game, is Matfey is back. Because Matfey has for a while he hasn't been playing is with his usual flair, should we put it that way, yeah. But in this game he manages to play quite a nice game, and let's have a look. So it's a Sicilian Naidov, and he plays Queen d3. Yeah, he always will try to. That's his style. He's always going to try and find a move that the opponent will not have looked at, and he will obviously have, sort of looked at some ideas. But his main idea is to just try and play on his own. He doesn't mind, especially when he has white, to have the initiative. So G6 is there are many moves that can be played here. I mean, black can play E6 or black can play E5. Or okay, G6, bishop G5, bishop G7, castles long and the castles short. So what is happening here is that we have to look at this with a dragon sort of background, right? Now, in a Sicilian dragon Yugoslav, white would play the bishop to E3, the queen to D2, and then the pawn to F3, right? That would be the setup. So, well, let me make an example here. So let us go to a normal dragon setup. I think if we do this, we will then be better able to understand the requirements of the position that came. So so we're talking about typical structures here. So this is the position that white would normally play, and of course, white has two options to play bishop c4 or to castle long. As a rule, black is not going to be wasting time with moves like a6 in this structure. Black will try to play relatively quickly, possibly knight c6, and try to get as quickly out as possible. So now if we compare this now, let's compare it with the game, okay? It starts as a knight off, and we get this position. See what has happened. So white is a few tempos ahead. If we compare it to the dragon structure, white, instead of playing f3, already has gotten f4 in. This will create, of course, options in some positions of playing the move e5. Okay, so black must play a little bit differently from a dragon, which it does with knight d7. Bishop e2 is then played. Queen c7. Yeah, here I think maybe h4. For me, h4 is a very big because bishop e2 is a clear signal that Matthew wants to go h4, h5. Maybe it was time for black to play h6 first, just to disrupt. At least there's no h4, and then play queen c7. But we can also understand because maybe you didn't want to give them g4, g5. But the pawn is already on g6, so white will already always have the lever h5, f5. So, but anyway, it's hard to say, He plays queen c7. I've got the other one open. Okay, nothing has changed here. Queen C7, and then equals H4. So it's about speed, and Black has not started with their attack. This is the problem. And look now, there's a very simple threat. The threat is just to take on G6. You can't take with the F pawn because 96, and if you take with the H pawn, possibly Queen H3 immediately, right? And after Queen H3, I'll be threatening Knight D5 because then I want to go Queen H7. If you move this knight, I play F5. So the attack would be flowing, and it would be extremely dangerous for Black. So understandable that Jack wants to change the structure, but we can see that White is calling the shots here. Knight F5 was a very nice move, of course. He's basically basing it with the idea that the king is going to have less squares, because of course, if Black takes, then White will possibly go H6. Yeah, that's what I think would happen. And you cannot, I mean, Bishop H8. Okay, this is of course a sample variation. Yeah, no one, they both don't have to play like this, and then Queen G3. Yeah, and it's already game over. So this is just like sort of the idea that White is having. Very difficult to deal with. So Knight C5 is tried, and then he plays Queen takes D6, Knight takes D6, and B4, and then he puts in a very nice move H6. This is a very good move because now Bishop H8 is forced, but now have a look at this position. The king is still in the mating net, right? So the king has not really escaped the mating net, so to speak. So even though it's an end game, but unfortunately um, mm, for Jack, the mating net is always there. Takes on C3, takes on F6. And yeah, now the king is completely stalemated. We just need a check, like 97 possibly. And then he plays Bishop H4. So he tries G5. Yeah, it's already desperate because, I mean, if you're playing G5, you're obviously opening for the G5. But it's difficult to, what's the word I'm looking for? It's hard to make recommendations in terms of what maybe the opponent should play. This is trouble now. Okay, now this is just waiting for the for death, no? Because the G file is open and you cannot stop it. Plays this, and he sees this. Calculates because you cannot play Rook B8 because I take and play Rook D8. Very nice concept. So a very nice game by Matfey. Matfey doing Matfey things, should we call it like that? And he's on full score, and he's a threat. So yeah, he definitely with this game, Matfey has raised his hand now as a favorite, should we call him, in this field. And don't forget, this, by the way, Matfey is the defending champion because he won the Moja last year. Very, very fantastic stuff. Very interesting. Let's have a look at. I just want to see what's happening on the other board. So Sergio on board 2, it looks drawish. I don't know if Sergio can escape perpetual check. I don't think he can. So it will most probably be a draw. So what is of interest to me is what is happening on board 4, because the last time I had looked, Vito had a slightly better position against Simpson. Yeah. So I want to check now what's happening now. What? Oh, if a surprise result. Joseph Mwane beat I am Providence. When I looked, Providence had a very good position. But okay, Joseph Mwale turned that around. That's a good result for Joseph Mwale. Definitely hitting up. Let's have a look. What other results are interesting here? Okay, but Minda was interesting. I was interested in this game. But it looks like Vito is going to win against Simpson. And yeah, so very interesting tournament still to happen. Jan Carsten won against the youngster. So yeah, so a lot to play for in the tournament and very interesting. But I like this game. Okay, of course, truth be told, Jack didn't play, with his usual level. He didn't handle this game as well as he could have. But very nice game by Matfey. And yeah, we'll see what happens in the next round. Yeah. So with that, I will say, please comment on the. Maybe I've missed some game that is very interesting. Please do comment. I will then have a look at it and see. But yeah, let's comment, let's share, let's subscribe if we haven't. And yeah, with that, I will say till next time, checkmate.